Rogers TV. We're here in Etobicoke, Ontario at Father Henry Carr Secondary School. It's the Chaminade Griffins in town taking on the Crusaders. Ian Jodry and Cal McLennan with you here today. Cal, a lot of basketball history here at Henry Carr, and it starts with the senior boys B team, and they have an opportunity to push even farther in what has been a tremendous season here today.
Yeah, we talked about, you walk through these halls and you just get chills. It just, everything about it says athletics and certainly basketball. It's a team that's so good and a program that's so deep that the talent that we're going to see here today is only a tiny reflection of what they've got going for them on all levels.
And absolutely, you look on the Chaminade Griffin side of things, a school that's definitely reputable for their academics, but their basketball programs have shown in the past that they can have some recent years of success.
Well, yeah, and you look at Kevin Osaway, who scored 7 times over 25 points this game. Big man down in the paint, 6'5". Look for him to get the ball. He's definitely someone who can shoot the ball, play inside out, and he could pose trouble for the home side today.
So on your screens at home, it will be the Crusaders going left to right in white uniforms with the blue trim. Meanwhile, it is the Griffins going from right to left on your broadcast screen at home. The Griffins coming in with a 6-2 record. Meanwhile, the Crusaders sitting at 7-1, looking to keep that momentum going.
Well, right off the opening tip, you can see this is a game that the Griffins looking to come in here and knock off Carr. Big man Osaway trying for a shot off the top, but going in, following it up. And, you know, this is a team that came in here pumped and looking for an upset, and they want to get it, and they're going to work for it.
And Kevin Osaway with the statement right off the opening tip-off, going straight to the glass himself. Crusaders looking to push the other way. Shot won't go, and up to grab the rebound is Romeo Osas Joshua. Joshua again lost the ball right at the baseline, and it'll stay with the Griffins, so 17 on the shot clock and a chance to reset in their offensive end. Quick three ball right off the inbound and connecting from distance. Kevin Osawi making a statement early on. A quick 5-0 lead, not even 45 seconds into this one. And the press almost forces the turnover, but the home side will retain possession.
Well, we just watched in the junior game, the diamond press, and then right here off the bat, it's Chaminade going for the half-court press, just letting them get up there and then try to trap them as much as they can as soon as they get close to half. So a little different from the junior game, but at the same time, that intensity. And when you know how to press, you give your offense such a breather.
So off the inbound from the half court, the Crusaders reset with about 8 on the shot clock. Playing some good man-to-man defense here. Shot clock winds down at the buzzer, won't get it to go. And there easily for the rebound was Osawi.
And great rebounding. This is why this is one of the best basketball players at this level in Ontario that we're looking at. And Osawi just making his presence felt right off from the beginning of this game.
And Osawi making his presence felt in the half court, forcing the turnovers, but also on the offensive end, gained some speed. Left-hand shot floater won't go. The 2 shots coming up as he got swiped out on the way by.
And that's another thing they'll have to be careful. When you get a big man that can go inside, bang with the big guys, and then come to the outside and just move around the key like that, you're bound to pick up a few fouls. That's just one so far, but man, oh man, it could be a long day for a lot of these players if Osawi keeps getting to the hoop.
The Griffins definitely coming in as the underdogs, but looking with a bit of jump in their step early on. First shot from Osawi, no good. The follow-up also off the mark. But a great turnover forced that time by Joshua. Can't get it to go. Osawi there for the offensive board, won't go. Third time's the charm. And Cal, you give any one of these players 3 opportunities, they're eventually going to make you pay right underneath the hoop.
Well, especially a guy who's as long and lean as Osawi, and man, oh man, just getting up there and getting his players involved. You can tell he's not just a scorer, he's not just a player, he's a leader as well.
And definitely feel already that we're going to be talking about his name a lot. They throw that one all the way into the backcourt, so the Crusaders reset deep. Haven't gotten a very clean look early on, driving straight to the hoop, and that one won't go, but he's heading to the line for 2. Foul that time called on Christian Ursino. So a quick 7-0 run to start this one. Not even 2 minutes in. The Griffins definitely looking strong. All around a well-rounded team. The Crusaders just can't find the score sheet early on as Osawi flies in for the rebound.
Osawi already with rebounds, with steals, with points. Everywhere you look, he's athletic enough to get there, and almost getting on the floor was Henry Carr, but back to Osawi.
Osawi, the step back two, won't get it to fall, but Joshua grabs the rebound, and eventually it comes down for the Crusaders, looking to push offensively, pull up two, got it. And finally, Henry Carr puts an end to the hot start for the Griffins, trying to build some momentum off that. Joshua fading away with the right hand, and he gets the floater to fall.
And it's going to be imperative they get secondary scoring outside of just Osawi. And a nice job there on defense to get the steal.
Poking away is Ursino. Ursino lost it for a second. Osawi will reset the Chaminade offense. Into the corner, and it looks like he traveled, and he did. So just dragging that foot at the last second. It looks like it was Glorious Okpali.
Which I should have mentioned off the top is my favorite name when I read through these rosters. It's just going to be fun to say for the next hour or so.
Okpali, the glorious move, but just couldn't get it as he was called for the travel violation, and back the other way. The Crusaders trying to trim into that lead. 9-4 early on, just about 3 minutes into the opening quarter. And Joshua calls out a play, directs the defense, gets a high screen, lost the ball at his feet, and able to come away with it. And getting it to fall off the floater was Okpali. And right now this Chaminade offense just looks relentless, keeping a high tempo and not leaving much opportunity for the Crusaders to get back in it.
Well, even the fast break opportunities that Henry Carr are getting, you're getting two guys crashing to the board so quickly that they're going to have to go really high off the glass, and everyone's just terrified of getting swatted. This is a really long team from Chaminade.
So Boer off the easy baseline feed gets the bucket to fall, and the lead already pushed to 9 for Chaminade, looking to push back the other way. But the Crusaders able to bear it down defensively. Pass inside, and an easy bucket that time for Henry Carr.
That's a wonderful pass. Get the defender, make it look like you're going to go back towards the perimeter, and then whip one right in there under the basket. Good play by Carr.
Pull-up triple that time as Osawi connects. He's had 7 games with 25-plus points, and already he's looking to keep that trend going. Chaminade flying out of the gates up 16-6.
And just the swagger as well. Just the idea that in their minds they're not going to lose this game and go into the hoop for a couple more.
And it just looks like a hot knife through butter right now. That time it's Romeo Osas Joshua getting inside for the easy 2 points. And not the start you want at all if they're the Crusaders. And just as I say that, they come back and have an opportunity to get a 3-point play of their own here in the late stages of the first quarter.
Well, that's just good play coming down, not getting your head down, but going right to the hoop and making something happen. And a very, very strong take opportunity to go in for a couple more. One more, excuse me, not 2 more. 2 more would be great, but they'll take what they can get right now, down 10.
Well, you might have been correct. They might get the extra 2, get the 4-point play, nothing that a coach ever designs, to miss a free throw.
How about 3 more?
Good chance that time, but Osawi pulls down the board, and the Griffins looking to extend on what is already a 10-point lead in the first quarter. Up top to Joshua. Joshua wants a high screen. He's going to get it that time from Okpali. Joshua drives baseline and gets the one-hand bucket to go.
We'll talk about that little delay where he waits at the top, switching hands, going to the left hand, and then what a quick take. This Chaminade team's so efficient when they get the ball, making things happen with pace.
20 points in less than 6 minutes as a team. Their offense is flying right off the opening tip-off. High floater and almost got the miracle shot to drop, but nonetheless, the Crusaders going for the line with a chance to slow things down and chip away.
Yeah, and that was going to be my point, Ian, is the fact that such a blistering pace off the top that any time that you can draw contact, even get to the line for a little bit of a breather so you don't feel so stretched at the other end of the court, that's going to be a good thing. Now, making the shots, that's almost imperative if they want to chip away at this at all.
So Chaminade flying 20 points, but they've already committed 3 team fouls. And if you get one of your big guns in trouble early on, that could mean some rough stages down the stretch, as now we see Glorious Okpali checking out.
And the opportunity, too, just to have Osawi be able to check out later on. Like, you build up a lead of around 11 points. That's at least something to play with. Get the big man a little bit of a breather. Or if he's in foul trouble, you get him off the court, and the rest of the team also picking up the slacking.
Osas Joshua, the tough shot, and off balance and well contested, won't get it to drop. The Crusaders looking to threaten more offensively. Chaminade coming out with that 2-3 defensively, as all of a sudden the shot clock winds down to 5. Gets a high screen rolling out to his right.
Gotta hurry.
Almost lost it, and they're gonna, and it will be a turnover as the ball's going back to the Griffins. And what has really been a nightmare start for the Crusaders. Turnovers, missed shots, block shots. Nothing going offensively, and starts with a strong play from Osas Joshua and Osawi.
There might have been a little bit of time there left on that shot clock, but maybe only a second and not enough to get anything off. So in the interest of not slowing the game down too much, they just decided to turn it over.
Osawi goes one-on-one, puts up the tough right-handed shot, gets his own rebound, third opportunity. And now Carr has a chance to push with numbers, 2-on-1, and flying in for the easy 2 that time.
That's great transition defense right into offense. Good job finding the easy pass down there.
Osawi got the quick feed right away. The quick release allowed no time for that weak side rotation to get into place. And had a wide open look right underneath the hoop.
And one good turn deserves another, because 2 great passes on either end of the floor. Second one finding Osawi.
Ball straight up in the air, comes down to Osawi. 2-on-1. Abad. And he dished it off to his man that time in Fortune. And then Abad's fadeaway jumper on the baseline won't go. And what a beautiful move in time. He's going to go to the line for a chance at a 3-point play. What a job getting to the hoop and drawing the harm.
Well, excellent take right there. And this has been the no fear attitude after probably going down about 10 points early to the Chaminade side. But Henry Carr chipping away in their own way, which is just getting to the hoop, drawing contact, and see if you can make stuff happen at the free throw line and getting your shots to fall. So very important that they just stick to a game plan and do what they do best, and certainly get bodies in and around the net is speaking to that idea.
So that trims the lead back down to 6. Excuse me, it's a 22-15, so a 7-point lead for Chaminade here in the final couple possessions of the opening quarter. Abad, they can go 2 for 1 here if they control the ball well. Abad wants a dish off up around the half-court line as he finds Joshua. Joshua wants a high screen, he'll get it, roll out to his right, and dishes off in the corner. Tough feed that time, as Ursino couldn't get his shot to fall, and the Crusaders look to capitalize the other way. Transition triple. Won't go. Offensive rebound, however, right underneath the hoop, and that'll roll, and it's back to a 5-point game.
Well, remarkable. We didn't think we'd see this, and another turnover underneath.
And the Crusaders coming right back. 2 straight turnovers, and after a 20-8 run to start the first quarter, the Crusaders come flying back. And you look at this team's record and just how they performed in the opening minutes, Cal, you say, hey, this is not how we expected this Crusaders team to perform. But now at the end of that first quarter, they showed exactly how they can.
Well, it's just remarkable what you can do when you get in the mind space that you're going to go to the net and things are going to happen. And as we said before, this is a team that when they go to the net, good things happen. As we take a look at the first quarter highlights here, Ian, and at the beginning, it was all Chaminade, and particularly all Osawi, who was just making a mockery of this Henry Carr team. But slowly but surely, plays like that, getting to the net and drawing contact, and it's been an entirely different game in the second half of the first quarter as it was in the first.
And we mentioned the game before this, how important it was to stay on your feet defensively, and that's going to be a huge key. If you're the Henry Carr defense, you looked at Chaminade early on, quick passes in and out of the zone. That created lots of opportunity for big guys like Osawi, who stands at 6'5". Meanwhile, guys like Romeo Ansas Joshua, who played a tremendous opening 8 minutes. One of the best point guards that we've seen on the court here today. So a 22-19 lead heading in to the second quarter. The Griffins with the early advantage. A quick 4 points drew them back within 3 as the Crusaders had a tremendous end to that opening quarter. Now they'll look to build on it.
Well, an opportunity to tie this game with a possession or a well-selected 3. Not necessarily what I'd advocate for, but at the same time, it's good to know you're that close.
And a great job inside that time. I've seen both teams doing it on the jump shot, but so far for Henry Carr, it seems their bread and butter has been getting their guards inside and creating space for them with offensive screens. Now rolling the other way as they kick back up top to Joshua. Joshua almost lost it. It's going to be jump ball, which means the Crusaders get the ball back.
And remarkable that here we are only a minute into the second half. Juho told me with about 4 minutes left in that first half that they would have an opportunity to take the lead.
So the shot clock stays at 8. They'll inbound in their own end. Quick feed inside, and Osawi goes straight to the rim. And a good wise foul that time by the Crusaders. Osawi's flying in for what was almost a guaranteed 2 points. Now he has to go to the rim and work for it.
Yeah, you don't want to give him any momentum or anything easy. A good foul, keeping him from making perhaps one of the dazzling plays that we know he's capable of.
And he's shown that capability early on. Got a couple of triples to drop early in that first quarter. That time he goes 1 for 2 from the line and stretches the lead back to 2 for the Griffins. Crusaders have looked good though in the past 5 minutes. Found themselves back into this ball game. Tough shot, he's gonna get it to drop, and a chance to take the lead just seconds into this second quarter.
Well, all knotted up at 23, and this is the 5th time that they've got to the line, and the 4th time that they'll have an opportunity for an and one. So let's take a look, and as we see the replay here, just squaring up, getting in, and while we're in replay, he did make the and one, and a 1 point lead for Father Henry Carr.
So after all that, it was a 20-8 run to start the game for the Griffins. All of a sudden, our first lead change comes at 7:04, flying in and getting rejected but fouled as Matthew Abad will head to the strike for a pair.
Just start all over again with 7 minutes left to go in this second quarter, and an entertaining game that's high scoring and definitely a game of runs back and forth.
Definitely seen a bit of a slower pace to open this second quarter. Both teams definitely feeling the effect of the fatigue of that quick pace opening minutes. See a couple more fouls than you saw in that opening frame, but nonetheless, speed definitely a factor. We've seen the key guards from both sides, whenever they're able to get around their defender, 9 times out of 10, it results in a score. Crusaders trying to work up top here with 10 on the shot clock.
And everyone wants to get inside. No one wants to settle for anything from the outside. And what a great follow-up to a missed shot there.
And the Crusaders all of a sudden have tied it, but looking to push back the other way. Ilunga, Jefferson Ilunga right off the inbound goes flying the other way.
Great job coming back, probably in a little bit of a trap there was Carr. Didn't look like they were going to get that inbound in. And so everyone's awake, everyone's alert. Another teardrop.
They've been going to that look several times now. They look to push the ball ahead to Abad. Matthew Abad had that one just out of his reach, which means that the Crusaders have a chance to come the other way. Almost breaking his ankles in the corner as they reset. Straightaway triple off the mark. And all 6'5" of Osawi there to pull it down.
Well, he just looks so confident holding the ball in.
Osawi in the corner, Abad, the quick feed inside, and a beautiful pass. Easily finds Romeo Asas Joshua for the 2 points.
Oh, it's a wonderful pass to be sure. It starts where Osawi draws a lot of attention there, looking for the dribble drive, and when everyone can just get set for a second to get into that zone setup, coming across off a screen and putting that one in for an easy 2 points.
Tough shot right on the baseline. He's going to get it to fall. So you like the aggressive defense so far from Chaminade. They have limited their easy chances inside, but this Henry Carr team has just found a way to get every shot to drop no matter what kind of defense you throw in front of them.
Just living and dying by the and one at this point, but I mean, that's got to be something that Chaminade has to tighten up in, to realize that they can't give them these easy fouls that are going to allow them to make the basket. If you're going to go and you're going to pick up a foul, make sure you make it a hard foul, and the basketball does not get anywhere near that rim.
When you're playing a team as talented as them, you're definitely right there, Cal. Can't commit any soft fouls and allow them a chance to even get a shot remotely close. There, it doesn't burn them, as we're all nodded at 28 off the missed free throw. Joshua tries to reset things up top for Chaminade. Osawi, the drive with the left hand. He floats it up himself. High bounce in the air, won't get it to roll. And it comes down in favor of the white shirts.
They'll get on the floor here for a jump ball, Ian.
That one is going to go back to the Crusaders, so they catch a break and have the lead for just a slim portion of the game, trying to regain that with about 5 minutes to go in the half. Take a look at that last drive from Osawi. A great battle inside.
Just looked like it was sitting on the rim and looked like it was going to go eventually, but didn't get the actual bounce to Osawi, and have to settle for a tie ball game with 5 minutes to go in this half, Ian. And boy, I never expected this, but both of these teams, and it's a different dynamic when both teams are fighting and they're in a dogfight for the entire game. And if this keeps up and goes down to the wire, we're going to be in for a treat.
Osawi going one-on-one, won't get the floater to go. Ball straight up in the air, and now the Crusaders can push the other way. But the turnover in their own end, so now let's see if the Griffins try and slow things down. Asas Joshua, and it looks like they want to talk things over as head coach Omar Kwamina calls a timeout and puts a bit of a pause to this fast-paced game. And early on, Cal, both teams getting some runs, getting some momentum, but neither team has gained an edge on the scoreboard, all knotted at 28.
Well, a very entertaining game and great athleticism from both of these sides. And it seems like any player that they've subbed in over the course of, the first 12 minutes of play here in this game have been understanding of the system and ready to run and ready to fight for every inch of court space that they can get. And that's, makes for good teamwork, but it also makes for great cohesiveness, and it makes for good basketball to watch here on Rogers TV.
Absolutely. There you see a look of a pair of duos who have done a tremendous job today. Elijah Seeley along with Gideon Board. Two of the big bodies so far for the Griffins, who have generated so much space down low. Now with 4:32 to go, they'll have a chance to reset in the offensive end. 19 on the shot clock. Meanwhile, for Henry Carr, they showed that they can battle down 12 just minutes into it. They knotted up and even took the lead in the early stages of the second quarter. So there's a reason that this school bleeds basketball.
Well,
go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, you see all of the nostalgia here in this gym, and no wonder they're so crazy about basketball as that three-pointer clanks out. But very, very heavily recruited kids are kids that go to Father Henry Carr. And don't be surprised if you attend a senior team game here to see some familiar faces that you might have seen around the NCAA tournament lurking around this Etobicoke school.
Absolutely. Tyler Ennis, now a member of the Milwaukee Bucks, one of the alumni, and many athletic greats of Toronto has come through here, and the terrific spin move, and that's going to get all the students on their feet and not the game at 30. A tremendous move offensively.
Well, there's something to be said for small gyms, and this is why. Is when something like that happens, everybody gets up and everyone gets on their feet. Now they got a fast break.
In all alone for the easy 2 points. And just like that, it's the biggest lead of the game for the Crusaders. Up 32-30. Now the Griffins find themselves behind for one of the rare occasions today. Joshua looks to drive inside, throws up the tough shot, and flying in for the block. But he's going to go to the line for a pair and slow things down for the Chaminade side.
Yeah, it's a shame they got a block there on that, but the backside help was coming quick, and perhaps had he let him go or known it was coming, it would have been a lot easier to trust your teammate that he's going to come across and make a big play like that.
So Romeo Osas Joshua, the junior 5'11" point guard, drops his first at the line. A couple substitutions for the Crusaders with just over 3 minutes to go in the half. Joshua's second one won't go, so it remains a 1 point game. Carr up 32-31. And the tough crossover right at the free throw line, working into the corner. Shot clock down to 5. driving in, and he feeds off to the easy 2 points right inside. Quick free ball that time. It looked like it was a bit rushed as Gideon Bohr couldn't get it to go. And now Father Henry Carr looking to extend that lead, already up 3. But a great job that time, climbing the ladder and grabbing the loose ball with Osas Joshua.
Yeah, that's kind of the reverse of what we saw in the first game, Ian. Not a lot of retail there in the paint, as it seems like even if you've got a straight up shot, it's very difficult to get it to fall with all the trees with their hands up, playing solid defense on both sides of the ball.
Early on, gotta like the aggressiveness from Osas Joshua. He goes to the hoop again and once again has a chance at the charity stripe. Trying to chip back into a lead, something that this Chaminade side hasn't faced much today, as Osas Joshua connects on number 1.
And definitely a hard foul to take there for the Henry Carr defender going back. Looked like he got a bit of an elbow in the face, but backpedaling him in the wrong position. Sometimes that's the double crime. Commit the foul and also take the worst of the interaction between the two.
A couple bench moves for Omar Comina as Glorious Okpali and Christian Ursino back into the game. And it's just about 2.5 to go here in the half. FHC trying to slow down the pace. I haven't seen that a whole lot from the home side today. Now just 5 on the shot clock. Pull up from distance, won't go.
Seem to be pretty happy to be in man-to-man or Chaminade right now. It's not too much zone playing. They like the matchups they get.
Kick out, wide open triple in the corner. In and out. Ball straight up in the air, and once again a third opportunity. Thought about it, drives in, pass inside, and maybe that's the time when you don't make that extra pass. It costs you a turnover there, and a whistle at center court. It's gonna go that time against the Crusaders, it appears. It's really Chaminade ball with just about 1:49 to go in the first half.
Looked to be a little bit of a soft foul, as I couldn't even tell who that was on. It was probably the most minor of reach-ins, I think, but regardless, what's done is done. Up in arms was the Henry Carr bench. They couldn't believe it. But I think Henry Carr has to be ready for those drop-down passes. They have a lot of great people who can throw out great assists, and a lapse right there.
Osas Joshua gave the nice feed that time to Ursino, but he couldn't get his one-hand floater to drop. Back the other way come the Crusaders, and throwing it up and getting fouled on the way by as the Crusaders head to the line for another 2 free throws.
Had a great move, too, to get in and see if you can get a foul on. Looked like Osawi was in the range, and Osawi took the bait, reached in, touched him just enough. Probably didn't have to because Carr driver was running out of real estate.
And something head coach Comina is going to have to keep an eye on, because that's one guy that you do not want to have on the bench too long. Keep him out of foul trouble and maximize his minutes on the courts.
Believe that is only his first foul tonight, and they'd be wise to hope it stays right there or right about there. Not having the most productive night after the beginning of the first quarter, but certainly third and fourth quarter is a big game time, and that's when big game players come to play, and Osawi is certainly fitting that description this season.
Absolutely, we mentioned it, 25+ points in his last 7 games, so definitely a talking point, and just his presence on the floor definitely stirs the pot for this Chaminade side. Brings so much size at 6'5", pulls up for a triple and banks it in, knocking it down off the glass.
Bit of a wry smile there afterwards. Maybe indicating to us that that probably wasn't going to be a bank, but you know, when you're good, you're lucky.
Didn't hear him call bank, but they'll still put the 3 on the scoreboard. That triple way off the mark that time for the Crusaders, so Sawi looks to push, goes one-on-one, kicks out to Joshua in the corner. Oshawa with the drive, throws it up with one hand, won't go. Ball loose on the floor, and the Crusaders are finally able to get 2 hands on it. Thought about the transition 3. Now they'll try and work back inside. Great defensive pressure from the Griffins, but the follow-up is just as good and gives that Crusaders lead again at 37-36.
Well, this one's just back and forth the whole time as Osawi misses, but I'll tell you this much, going to the hoop, and even when those shots aren't falling, Carr is crashing the board so effectively that they're still getting points out of it. Right there, they get a loose ball again.
About a 3-second differential between the game clock and the shot clock, so now the shot clock should reset, but they didn't reset it. It'll go all the way back down that way. So it will go back to the Griffins, a bad pass in their own end. So now 10.2 seconds left, and the Griffins can hold on and try and gain that lead just before halftime.
And not able to grab the backcourt pass before it went to the end. So it's a great ball underneath at the half-court offense. Probably wouldn't have made too much difference, but if Chaminade were quick, they could have hurried up. 4 on the clock now.
Osawi at the buzzer, won't get it to roll. So the first 16 minutes of play comes to an end, a 37-36 Father Henry Carr lead, and definitely a tale of two different quarters.
Well, certainly that was the case. You look at the first quarter and how quickly and blistering the Griffins came out. Great pace, Osawi setting the pace, and in the second quarter, clawing their way back was Father Henry Carr and the Crusaders. Man, oh man, we're in for a good half of basketball.
Kevin Osawi, a loud opening couple minutes, but a quiet second quarter. Chaminade has some work to do, down by just one, 37-36. You're watching senior boys basketball here on Rogers TV. Welcome back to Father Henry Carr Secondary School here in Etobicoke, Ontario. Once again, it is the Crusaders on top by one at the break, and it was definitely two different quarters. We saw early on it was the Griffins jumping out to a 20-8 lead in that first quarter, but the Crusaders came storming back. They got the shots going, and lots of it came with limiting the offensive rebounds. There you saw right out of the gate, Kevin Osawi did a tremendous job getting his own buckets and getting them fall, but back came the Crusaders, whether it was in transition. But Osawi stayed hot that time. He got the easy bucket inside and pulls up for three. So he's shown he can do it inside and with the range as we take another look at another Osawi three. He was hot. We mentioned 7 games with 25-plus points coming into this one. And also a big contributing factor for the Griffins has been Romeo Osas Joshua, the grade 11 point guard, has shown his speed. And one of the big things for Father Henry Carr has been their free throws. They struggled with it early on, but they started to bear down. They've got a couple and one plays, and that was their bread and butter. That's what got them back into the game when they were down 12 in the early stages. They did a great job crashing the glasses. There you see any hole in the defense that they've been given, they've been finding a way to get through it. But on the other side, the Griffins show why they've had a pretty good season, coming in at 6-2, just one game behind Father Henry Carr. So this game very meaningful in the standings. But the pressure continues to come, whether it was on the perimeter or when they slowed things down in the half-court set. The guard play from both sides has been tremendously strong, whether it's an and one or whether it's a good drive to the hoop. And we've seen a lot of tough shots. The follow-ups have been there for both sides, and it's been almost an identical strategy in the sense that the Griffins have really been using their big man, while Father Henry Carr, they've been forced to use their guards, and they've been using them to a T. Only down one are the Griffins after a tremendous first quarter where they scored 20 points before the first quarter even came to an end. And of course, we saw some good play off the bench. That time was Jefferson Alongo who got the nice feed. Meanwhile, for the other way, the Crusaders continued to pound inside. And of course, the perimeter was working. Didn't see a whole lot of teams showing their flexibility from beyond the arc early on. But towards the end of that quarter, the Crusaders definitely looked a lot more comfortable. They got more involved. And it looked tremendous as all of a sudden they got themselves back into a game. And when it really comes down to it, it was a tale of two different quarters. A 20-8 run for the Griffins to start things off. Meanwhile, Crusaders did a great job getting right back in the game. Both teams had some runs early on, and both teams are almost knotted. 37-36, Father Henry Carr with the lead with just 16 minutes to go. Second half coming up here on Rogers TV. So Chaminade down just one with 16 minutes to play. Once again, Ian Jodry and Cal McLennan with you here for some TDCAA Senior Boys basketball here on Rogers TV. What a job by the Crusaders fighting back in that second quarter. And Once again, if you'd like to request a DVD copy of this game or any other Rogers TV production, make sure to check out rogerstv.com/TorontoDubRequest. You can pick up a DVD of this game and many others. Back onto the floor they come. 37-36 the score for Henry Carr, and we talked about it during the break, Cal. They do such a great job creating space inside, and they just have so many options offensively.
Yeah, they do, and it's just a matter of squeezing that ball and getting it back up and going strong. We've seen this as a Chaminade team that one of its flaws, perhaps, not able to help themselves on reach-ins. Even Oasis been doing it, or Sawi, excuse me, has been doing it, but everyone else, for the most part, if you can get them into foul trouble, this could be a chance for Henry Carr to come out and make things happen.
Joshua got the high screen, drives, won't get it to go. The offensive rebound also won't go. The third follow-up from Joshua will fall.
Well, if you're Carr, you got a box out there, but that's excellent offensive rebounding and getting after it for Chaminade, and then turning around and forcing the turnover, Ian.
LaShawn Morris that time, as soon as he crossed center court, lost it right along the sideline and couldn't get anything going. So Chaminade a turnover and a score right out of halftime. So they have the momentum rolling in their direction, trying to keep it going. Joshua just flips it off the glass.
My word.
One of the farthest layups you'll ever see was right around the free throw line. We just kind of underhand flipped that one up for the 3-point Griffins advantage.
Romeo Osas Joshua, what a game he's had, and what an amazing play there. Just the confidence to palm it and to finger roll it. They say everyone can dunk, not everyone can finger roll. Maybe that's not true in high school, but that's certainly a beautiful finger roll for now.
Joseph Wilson checking into the game for the Crusaders. It's amazing watching these players inbound on their own baseline. Such little space between the paint and the wall, and how well these players have adapted to playing in these small environments, and it makes for one heck of an atmosphere.
Was a big man running the floor there, Ian.
Flying up to get it that time was Wilson, and now the Crusaders can reset offensively. Watt, tough drive, and it won't go. Watt was limited to just 2 points in that opening quarter, and another turnover forced by the Griffins, and a chance to try and build on some momentum. They've scored 4 straight to open the quarter.
Well, after the first quarter expired and Henry Carr started to chip into that lead, they did it by getting their hands up on defense, making sure they were in passing lanes, making sure they weren't giving anything away easy. And then even then, after getting a rebound and getting out, Henry Carr not giving anything up on a fast break. So good for them, good hands-up defense.
Osas Joshua flips it up and he'll get it to fall. A beautiful play right in front of the rim was caught tight offensively. He throws it up with the one hand and has a chance to extend the lead up to 6 now for Chaminade.
Well, just not scared of anything as you take a look at this right out of the break. Throwing it up, double teamed over 2 Carr defenders and getting it to go and adding 1 just for good measure.
JJ Sidora gets caught with a foul that time. That's his 2nd so far this afternoon.
And he had a glare for the official there, looking at him like he had no idea why that was being called.
What a job that time by Osawi. Picks off the pass, was looking for a pick 6 down the sideline. Just stepped out of bounds. And of course, Coach Comina still applauding the effort. It's a great heads-up play right in front of the bench.
Yeah, I thought by the reaction for a second there, Ian, they were going to say that he got bumped, picked up a block, but no such luck, just applauding a valiant effort by Osawi.
Here's Watt. He works it over to Menzies, back to Watt. Menzies again, open look from 3-point land, won't fall.
And that 2-3 zone of Chaminade, just happy to let it go out of bounds, knowing they had it covered.
So the Crusaders yet to find a score sheet here in the second half. That time Osawi with a rare turnover, as Watt was able to scoop it up and forcing it the other way to the easy 2 for Osawi. A great job scooping up the loose ball by Gideon Boer.
That's just great heads-up defense, knowing that the ball's going to be rattling around after a steal. No one's necessarily corralled it yet at seeing if you can push it up to the guy who's still parked underneath the rim.
Watt, the short 2, won't go. Osawi climbing the ladder, but somehow Watt gets it right back, wisely throws up the shot, so he'll head to the line for a pair. you're going up against a size mismatch like that, you see the defense falling down on you, Cal. That's exactly what you should do. Put up the shot and get a chance at the line.
That's going to be Osawi's second. They tagged him, and it was a very good aggressive take. And anytime you have an opportunity to get number 35 in green and gold in the air, you're going to take it.
Watt connects on number 1. Watt was a big centerpiece of that early comeback in that second quarter. Talk about how well guards like him and Jalen Menzies did a great job to create space. And that trims the lead to 6, 45-39. The deep pass up court and the easy bucket that time as Camps all alone was glorious. Okpali, you can't let him get behind the defense like that.
No, and he's a guy who's going to make that every single time. Just slowly stayed with the press and then snuck behind it. And a great play by Glorious to get off for the easy 2.
So Jalen Menzies lost the ball out of bounds in the corner, so 14 on the shot clock. And the Crusaders trying to set up. All of a sudden find themselves down by 8, something that they didn't face much of in that second quarter, trying to battle back, just like they've done a couple times here this afternoon. 50-50 ball as Watt comes down with it. Watt, little floater in the lane, and he'll get it to roll. Beautiful play, crashing in towards the rim.
And that's just understanding spatial awareness. You go too far, you're not going to get it to go. You go in too close, you'll probably get called for a charge. He just let the defenders stay up where they were and get over them, get a nice little floater in there and give it a soft touch.
Osawi just made a great play on the sideline there. It was a 50-50 ball that was last off him, so he had to get to it. As he was falling out of bounds, he threw it off of Menzies from FHC and keeps possession in the hands of the Griffins. Now they slow things down. We haven't really seen them in a half-court set here today, and they go right back down low to work. And that time, Gideon Bohr was sent back right where he came from. Into the corner for Watt. He drives baseline, flips it up, and won't get it to fall as the shot clock expires, but feels like that's a 24-second violation as they were not even close to deep in the shot clock.
Well, we'll take a look at this one again. It might have touched just barely, hit the rim right around the time the buzzer came out. I think they're going to say it was inadvertent, but regardless, they're going to call contact, and it's easy to say when you call a foul anyway that maybe the foul was before the shot clock violation anyway. So
Zion Enganati at the line as he can't hit on either one, so definitely hurts if you're FHC. Bring yourself back within 2 possessions and come up short at the free throw line. Now Chaminade has a chance to try and hurt you. Okpali's pass intercepted by Watt. For a small guy, he's done a great job getting in there this afternoon. Wilson into the corner. They work it back up to Menzies. Menzies ran into a wall of green defenders. No foul called, but it's going to stay with FHC.
And Menzies very agile. He can get to the rim. Take a look at this. Splits between 2. And then actually had jumping in the air was Osawi, but you're right, no foul called, and maybe they get the ball back and they don't want to tag Osawi with his 3rd just yet off something like that.
And right off the inbound, Osawi was forced to back off as Zion Enganati did a great job establishing space right underneath the hoop. Back to a 4-point game now.
It's funny how it happens that quickly.
Quick triple from the outside off the mark that time by Abad, but the follow-up is just as good. And they're back up 6.
And Osawi is just intensity. You can see the whole time. They smell blood in the water here on the half court. They got to get it over. And instead, it's a giveaway. Osawi laying it off.
Abad back out. Transition triple won't go. Osawi pokes it straight up in the air. Watt comes down with the loose ball, falling to his feet. He feeds off to Menzies. Menzies goes one-on-one. And yes, sirree, the offensive foul going to be called that time on Menzies. Planting his feet and drawing the charge. A great job that time by Christian Ursino.
Well, it was, and Ursino very, very smart and savvy, and you saw a good job by the officiating there. No one blew the whistle too quick. It was a look between the 2 of them. They exchanged. He said, I've got charge. Do you have anything that would overrule that? No sign, and all of a sudden, ball going back the other way. But great communication and a great, great play by Christian Ursino just to stand up and take that charge.
Joshua draws a double team and feeds it right off to Ursino. Has them open floor. Feeds inside, but the shot off the mark that time. by Seeley. And Watt continuing pressure down low, and now these teams starting to pick up that pace again. Behind the back for Osawi. Oh, my! The beautiful baseline feed that time as the ball falls right into the hands of Elijah Seeley. Floater in the lane is going to fall that time. Both teams exchanging buckets as Tadri Morse gets it to fall for Henry Carr. And with all this pace, the Crusaders are going to talk things over.
Man, oh man, I could watch that all day, and I know the truck's getting it ready because what a beautiful play, arguably the best basket we've seen, and just really good heads-up team basketball. Osawi, probably his best gift, it's his vision. It's not the fact that he feels he needs to shoot all the time. It's that he knows he does not have to. And right there, that distribution, man, oh man, beautiful.
Osawi with the incredible behind the back as he went straight to the rim. Once again, to request a DVD copy of this game and many others, visit RogersTV.com/Toronto-request. We can provide you with copies of this production and anything else that you would find on Rogers TV Toronto. Once again, RogersTV.com/Toronto-request. So Chaminade up 4 as Osawi starting to get into that rhythm that we saw in the early minutes. Crusaders, however, trying to not fall in that gap, and a backcourt violation that time. He went over and just get a bit of a mental lapse that time, Cal. No real explanation. And
yeah, I think Abad just didn't check his feet. I think he really thought that perhaps, you know, you get the front court and the back court, but realized, no, you don't get the back court and then the front court. So mental lapse is definitely the best way to put it.
Morse goes one-on-one, throws it high off the glass, won't get it to fall, but a great offensive rebound by Beckford in the corner. Watt, the fresh 24, of course, for Henry Carr. Down 4. Long shot way off the mark, and a great job by Beckford staying with it, and now he'll earn a trip to the line.
I'll tell you this much, one of the unsung heroes for Henry Carr today has definitely been Beckford. What a big body, but a big body who knows how to use it and knows how to be in the right position. Take a look at this. Off a wild shot, fighting over 2 guys. Now, he does have a height advantage, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. He knows Osawi's right behind him. Picks up his 3rd foul from behind. Could come into play here. 1:57 left. You might have to sit him down if he gets a quick one in the 4th and going back to the rack. Very, very important. Good heads-up play by Beckford.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're Coach Comina, you got to keep an eye on how much that factors Osawi in. They pick up the free throw and the 2-point game now. 1:50 to go in the 3rd. And the follow-up also no good as Joshua was flying in. So now the Crusaders are going to have a fast break the other way, but a travel going to be called. Had 4 white jerseys all in the vicinity, and it's going to be a turnover and a huge chance for the Griffins to try and punish the Crusaders off a turnover in their own end.
I'd like to see that one again, Chaminade.
Osawi shot off the mark. Watt, quick pass ahead that time to fight Aganda. Aganda going one-on-one, and he'll go to the line. Joshua was there contesting the shot. He gets charged with the foul.
So a couple good defensive plays. Chaminade practicing that defense and almost coming down for another back over.
Abad. Ursina's shot blocked away that time, was flying in. Tadri Morse goes out of bounds and stays with Chaminade. 12 on the shot clock.
Ursino immediately said, my bad. He had no idea Morse was coming anywhere near him.
Ursina again, now with 11 off the inbound. And Joshua lost that one, and it's going to stay green ball.
So Morse with the quick hands on the side, and Ursino with the inbound.
Great pressure from Father Henry Carr. It took him 3 tries, but now they get the ball in. 5 on the shot clock. Joshua over to Ursino, lost the ball, and now they force the turnover. So good relentlessness off the inbound that time for FHC, forces the turnover.
Just quick hands, hands up, good defense. Knowing that this is a team that you can tell has very good habits and good coaching to tell them that these are plays that you don't take off. You always have your hands up, you always have your hands in. You don't necessarily have to reach, but whatever you can do to make the offense's team or do offense's job harder, you're going to do it, and that's what they've been doing all season.
It's down just 2 now in the final minute of this third quarter. It's been neck and neck ever since that strong Chaminade run in the opening quarter. Joshua floats it and gets it to drop, a pretty teardrop as he let that one go from around the free throw line.
What a beautiful floater. What great spatial awareness.
More shot won't go. He follows up at his own and sent back by Osawi. Little plays make a big difference. Osawi thought about the three-point shot, drives in and gets the kiss off the glass to fall.
And we talked about this before. When you get a big man at an early age, the temptation is to put him in the 4 or the 5. Well, you got a guy like Osawi. He can play the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, the 5, and the 6 if it existed. So having him on the outside is great for his development and great for this team.
Watt tries his luck from beyond the arc, won't go. Battle for along the baseline, and Chaminade can hold on for the last shot of the third quarter. We'll go to the fourth. Osawi gets that one, but won't fall. Watt fighting for it. 2 on the clock.
Osawi had put in, and this is when it looked like Chaminade was starting to run away with this game, but back comes Watt, getting to the rack. These teardrops that just seem to fall every single time for number 3 in white and blue, and look at that acrobatics. Even when they don't go in, they look kind of pretty. So back and forth game in the entire third quarter, and what looked like it was going to be a bit of a blowout again. This Henry Carr team is very resilient, and they just keep chipping away.
Absolutely, this Crusaders team is great at playing from behind, but now the big thing, you've got 8 minutes to play. It's going to be getting a lead and playing with us.
And I believe their largest lead of the day is only 2. Other than that, I don't think they've been able to stretch it too far, but the same familiar cast of characters that you see for Henry Carr, including Watt and Morse, going to try and see what they can do here and maybe take over a lead themselves. If they get a tie game by the 4-minute mark, I think that's impressive basketball.
Watt works it over to Morse and then right back to him. Try and feed inside to their big man in Menzies, but that one's going to go out of bounds, and it'll remain Father Henry Carr basketball.
Well, now it looks like they're going to call a foul. I didn't see one either, Ian, but onto the hoop, went up. Guess just body on body, and they said it was enough to call it. So
Gennady hits the line for a pair, and every free throw crucial, and just as today is gone, neither team has really been able to find a rhythm at the charity stripe.
Well, we saw Henry Carr in the early game really struggle with their free throws.
And Gennady's second attempt also off the mark, but it looks like it might have been a lane violation.
Yeah, I think you're right. And if it wasn't Osawi, then it was definitely number 31 in your program, Seeley. So looked like Seeley and Osawi both had something to say, try to get in early for a box out, and it's going to cost them potentially a point.
And Gennady trying to make them pay. The third free throw attempt, he rattles it in, does just that, and every point valuable now, 3-point game.
Well, 1 possession game too, and that's arguably the most important thing. And it seems like Osawi maybe wants to do a lot of it himself and see if he can take this game over, but he's got teammates that can get to the hoop.
Throwing up and getting it to fall. Great job by Josh Alexander. Haven't seen a whole lot from him today, but extends that lead back to 5 for the Griffins. Morse feeds it outside to Watt. A little give and go up top of the offensive circle. Morse drives baseline, kicks in the corner, and he stepped out. We talk about not a whole lot of room between the wall and that baseline, and that time it victimizes the home team.
Yeah, and it's difficult playing on courts like this where it is just so close confines. You want to take every ounce of space you get, and sometimes you realize that you're running out of it rapidly.
Osawi, the turnaround J won't go. The Crusaders trying to push the other way with Morse. Jalen Morse looked like he took a couple steps, but in the end he got swiped at, and he'll have a chance at the charity stripe.
Well, again, this has been Henry Carr, how they've stayed in this game and how they've chipped away at the lead each and every time is just going, getting contact, and getting to the line. And if you make it or you don't make it, it's still force of habit. This is a team that definitely wants to block a lot of shots in Chaminade, and the Griffins will not resist the temptation to go and put an arm in.
Morse missed that one, so free throws continuing to be a problem for this Henry Carr team. They've now missed 3 of their last 4. They get the ball back with Watt. They'll try and rework it from the outside. The jump shots have been falling for them. And they'll give and go as Morris tries to set a high screen for Watt, and then they give it right back to him. Cuts back towards the inside, and a push going to be called on the Griffins. That foul is going to go on Maltiganda.
Well, at first, Joshua Alexander thought it was on him, and he couldn't believe it. Luckily, he was given the good news. No one really in foul trouble. Osawi, though, does have 3.
Something to watch for. If he gets one more, that becomes a talking point for Coach Chaminade. Do you leave him in such a tight, meaningful ball game? Be interesting to see how he manages his bench. Adrada turns the ball over. Osawi working around him and getting it to roll.
And just pushing into the middle to see if he can draw some contact on a player that's obviously backpedaling, but no lack of aggressiveness from Osawi.
Morris with a great drop step to create space inside, and he goes straight to the hoop, gets swiped out again, and from Chaminade right now, might as well keep sending the line because there hasn't been too many players so far who've been able to hurt you from that stripe today.
Well, it's going to be Elijah Seeley picking it up in the lane, and probably secondary help with Osawi there, and just a rough day for Morse at the line. He's not a bad shooter at all, but if there was a place where he felt more comfortable, it's certainly driving into traffic, protecting the ball, and getting off a shot. He's done that extremely well. Still has 6 minutes or so to redeem himself. This won't be his last time at the line, Ian.
And now as he goes over to that time, Elijah Seeley checks out for Chaminade. Jefferson Alunga back in. Osawi, the step back 3 won't go. Loose ball in the corner, and it's going back to Henry Carr. So they catch a break there on the baseline. They find themselves down 7. We talk about how well they've played from behind today. They'll need some more magic, and then they'll need that extra bit of offense to get over that hump.
Yeah, it's a little bit difficult to come from behind 3 straight times. You do it once, that's usually a tall enough order.
Yeah. They've done it twice. Let's see if the 3rd time's a charm. Watt, the inside feed, trying to create space, and a travel going to be called that time. And it looked like you could tell was coming. Michael Green dragged his feet. He was trying to create space with the elbows. And the turnover force, it's going back to the Griffins.
Yeah, no pun intended. Green was looking for the ball up at the elbow previously and trying to get a shot. He seems like the player who'd be more comfortable with that, 10-foot jump shot turnaround. He's getting the ball in the lane, but hasn't been able to materialize anything positive with it at this point. So
Joshua with a nice move inside. Won't go, in and out. Maybe that's the spark you need if you're Father Henry Carr. But a great job getting right back. Osawi open triple off the mark. Oh, ball loose, and now trying to push the other way. In all alone Menzies, and he'll elevate and get it to fall.
And 2 Chaminade players went up, fought over the ball with each other. It popped out of their hands, forced a fast break. Those are the type of baskets Henry Carr have to take advantage of, and they did.
It looks like Joshua got called on the offensive foul that time.
Yeah, running Watt off a screen there, and Watt definitely sold it, moving his shoulder, and a little bit of an animation on top of that. And that was enough to get it a screen and a block back the other way. So
5-point game, you can make it a 1-possession contest with a score on your trip here.
Yeah, this is arguably the biggest possession of the game, and each one will get bigger and bigger, but you can see Carr already smart enough to, and very, very close to a backcourt. That's not when you want to pick that ball up, but saving all the time they got.
Straightaway 3-ball, almost getting it to fall was Menzies. But the ball is going to stay with Henry Carr, and 22 on the shot clock. So a chance to reset on your offensive end. Slow things down, get calm. He's still got plenty of time on the clock. 5 points is not a big difference.
It's good defense from Jefferson Olunga, making that a very difficult ball to get in. And he was the one that had the swat initially and then made it difficult for Carr to work that ball in, chipping away at the shot clock 1 minute at a time.
21 on the shot clock, 59-54 is the Chaminade advantage right off the inbound. A nice play by Morris to catch and shoot back to a one-possession game. But now they're trying to catch him on the fast break. Joshua works at the right hand, fading away, won't go. Offensive board is going to be ripped away. Great job by Joseph Wilson. Now Henry Carr looking to push. And the travel going to be called. He got the outlet pass, Jalen Menzies, but took a step forward before he let that ball hit the court, and a costly mistake for the Crusaders.
Yeah, Menzies couldn't believe that. That's one of those ones where the step just barely goes right before the ball. You move that foot, and it looked to be a pretty good pivot because it had the defender going the other way, but referees are definitely on the lookout for the little things at this stage.
And now we see, coming with that press, 4:27 to go. If there was a time to call it, it is now. And Enganati that time almost forced a turnover, and now they do. Flying in for the loose ball was Jalen Menzies. And getting it to fall, Menzies off the turnover, getting it done himself. Back to a one-point game again. Osawi in all alone, gets it to fall on the foul.
Well, end to end, you see Menzies go get the ball back that he lost after his travel, pick it up, take it to the rack, take it in for two, and then falling asleep on the defensive end is Henry Carr. And that cost them to the tune of two and maybe
costly.
One more.
61-58, Osawi heading to the line again. Chance for the three-point effort. We've taken a look at that fast break, and that's tough to make right there. You see Zion Enganati was just a step or two behind him. He commits the foul. You're going to make a foul. Make sure he doesn't get a chance at the shot. That's an and one waiting to happen. So it restores a 4-point Chaminade lead, 62-58.
And every second is important, and Watt knows that again, leaving the ball on the ground as the ball comes up.
Watt, the baseline drive gets the fall.
So much real estate for Watt. He knows everything and how much space he's got.
And they almost hurt them again the exact same way. 4-on-1 now for Henry Carr. And he traveled. A costly mistake for Joseph Wilson. Had so many options. Just a mental lapse.
Yeah,
then
and
they throw it away.
It's certainly one of those things that you probably a 2-on-2, you're not going to travel. 4-on-1,
yeah.
I don't know how you do it, but you do.
So many options, so much going through your mind in such a tight contest, but they get blessed as Chaminade throws that ball away. 62-60, just under 4 to play. Watt over to Menzies. Watt from downtown won't go. Ball on the floor. Now Chaminade looks to push the other way. Great job driving and getting fouled that time was Glorious Okpali, so he hits the line with a chance for two.
And Morse looked like he had an opportunity to go straight up or just try to take the charge, but instead maybe got a little greedy, went in. He thinks he's got all ball, but
that's exactly what I was going to say. It looked like the opportunity to really make a clean play on that one, but big moment. Sometimes you go for the big play.
Well, it doesn't burn them that bad. They only got one out of the 2 free throws. And 3:33 with a 3-point game. How's that for symmetry?
Watt as they work it inside that time. Wilson won't get it to go, but the offensive rebound. Watt, the triple. Also off the mark. Ball being fought for on the baseline. Foul going to be called. And it looks like it is going to go on the Griffins. So it remains FHC ball. And of course, in the penalty.
Yeah.
So Wilson heads to the line, and free throws have been a talking point all afternoon for this Crusaders team. Now they have crucial free throws with 3:20 to play.
We think about all the points here and there, and you could pinpoint them in the first, second, third quarter of missed opportunities, but it's going to come down to these right now. And Definitely two big free throws, excuse me.
It's the hardest phrase to say in basketball.
Isn't it? You think you hope you get through one game.
So he missed the one-on-one as Wilson couldn't connect, so it remains a three-point contest. So Sowie lost the ball. Back the other way, Morse. He throws it away.
And good hands and a good head-up play by Menzies to say, you know what, I'm not even going to try and grab that and salvage it. Let's just take the ball out of bounds. Every possession so crucial. No time to take risks.
14 on the shot clock. They work it outside to Menzies. Outside, Watt. Shot clock down to single digits. Morse. Shot clock down to 5. Morse. Tough shot. Won't get it to go, but he drew contact. So Morse has a chance to redeem himself with two very crucial free throws in the final 3 minutes.
And it was just kind of baffling. You get into a position there where the positioning of both Matthew Abad and of Romeo Osas Joshua had great positioning. Instead, they tried to lean a little bit just to get a bit more of them because they weren't sure. And that was the difference between what would have been a clear block and a clear charge.
Morse's struggles continue. He misses the first one, connects on the second. So a 2-point game. And indeed at that point, Coach Omar Comino wants to talk things over. Possessions coming crucial. The past couple scores we've seen now for Chaminade have come off that inbound on the fast break, but now you get in the later stage of the ball game, maybe try and milk the clock a little more.
Yeah, well, first of all, you obviously saw this timeout coming because you know they were going to slow it down a little bit. It was just a matter of time before someone broke and called it. But yes, I feel that you're 100% right. I think these last 3 minutes aren't going to be as long as some people might think. I think if you could milk the clock as much as possible in the green and gold side, then you're going to... well, let's just say this. If you're going to be able to do that, get to the hoop and get some offensive rebounds the way they've been doing, that would be the best possible way to go about it.
And once again, to request a DVD copy of this or any other Rogers TV show, you can visit us at www.rogerstv.com/Toronto. Request. We'll be happy to provide you with a copy of this production or, of course, any other production you might find here on Channel 10. (63-61) out of the timeout. Here come the Griffins. They'll have the ball inbounding in their own end. They've done a great job forcing the turnovers here today and connecting off of them. Now they'll have the ball half court set, and no surprise here, the Crusaders coming out with a press and try and force a turnover with the game on the line.
This is great. Morse and Opali are both deep against each other. Opali keeps trying to sneak away, and now Morse maybe gives them a bit of room.
Osawi feeds it off to Osas Joshua. Osas Joshua, pass intercepted, but getting it right back, and Osawi finishes for the easy two. So getting a little too anxious on the fast break. Restores that 4-point Chaminade lead.
Well, smart move there, not taking the foul at the end, because that and one could have very much buried this ball game. Good job by Henry Carr to lay up.
And getting the follow-up, Morse missed the initial shot, then falling in that time was Joseph Wilson. And now all of a sudden he heads to the line, a chance at 2 in a very costly moment. Take a look at the replay.
Well, here this is going to be number 4 on Osawi, who's going to go right up on the back there. And
now it's very interesting for Osawi. One more and he's done. And what a force that would take out of this Chaminade starting 5.
Well, they've got so far through this game without having to worry about it, and now in the final 2-3 minutes, you know, you say even if you play without him for a minute, that's massive. Even him not having the chance to take a final shot with a few seconds left, that's massive.
Bodies hitting the floor, trying to force a turnover. Corner triple, knocking it down. Matthew Abad restores the 5-point cushion for Chaminade.
What a big shot from Matthew Abad, just spotted up in the corner, knew Osawi was going to get a lot of the attention and made no mistake as that came off his hand. Boy, did that one look good.
Moore splits the defense, won't get the roll. Second opportunity, and the follow-up will follow. Joseph Wilson puts it home. Back to a 3-point game.
And good defense. Carr has to calm down. 3 points, 1:43. That's an eternity as they get the turnover for Watt.
Watt the 2-on-1 with Menzies. Watt off to Menzies and the rejection. What a block that time by Osawi. And it's going back to the Griffins when it's all said and done. What a shift of momentum in one play.
unbelievable. It looked like they had it. They had an opportunity to kick out if they wanted to, but going back in was Menzies. As you take a look at this.
And with 4 fouls, he makes that rejection.
I was just going to say, just play like you've only got 1 foul.
Abad out top to Osas Joshua, trying to put the icing on the cake, up 3. Osas Joshua drives baseline, goes reverse, won't get it to go. Loose ball on the floor, couple bodies falling for it. They'll call jump ball, which means it's going back to Father Henry Carr.
Well, that possession arrow's getting a workout here in the final 2 minutes, as it often does. And right there, the correct call. And look at that play, very acrobatic, and good job just getting up there to try and get a hand on it by a lot of the guys in the paint for Henry Carr. They know they can't really give any leeway whatsoever as this ball's rolled in, 112 down to 110 on the clock.
Tadri Morse. Nganda then back to Morse. Morse outside. Nganda thought about it. Into the final minute now. Morse again goes one-on-one outside. Watt for 3, knocks it down! Kevon Watt! We're all nodded at 68.
Well, big game players make big game shots, and look at all of that. Good job working it around. Good job from Morse realizing he didn't have a pathway to get through to the net. They were smart. They moved the ball every way, which way they could, left, right, and then finally wide open is number 3, who's had himself quite a game. They could see those pink shoes just spotting up in the corner, crying for the basketball. Boy, did he make good with it, Ian.
Turned down for Watt as they tie the game at 60 at a line that had to be used 46.9 seconds. Chaminade has looked so good when they get the ball back as we take another look. The assist from Morse. The big triple from Watt. He hasn't dialed up a whole lot from beyond the arc in this second half, but no shot bigger than that one. So now you get the ball back, 47 seconds left, and right now, if I'm Coach Camino, the first thing I'm saying is, hey, you know, it's important to get a shot off here, but the first thing is let's milk as much time off this clock as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there is a thought that you go for a 2-for-1 if you can get it. But I think the more percentage play is to do exactly what you said. Take as much time off, get a quality shot, make sure you're able to get inside. This is a team that is able to find inside presence, and for that reason, it looked for a minute like Beckford was going to check back in. He is not. He's still standing up. And now back sitting down, this will be the squad that's going to take Henry Carr and Chaminade into the final 46.9.
Abad responsible for inbounding the ball, and he goes all the way up court to find Okali. Watt. And he lost the ball, but in the end, a foul going to be called. So Kevin Osawi goes to the line. More crucial free throws, just 42 seconds on the clock.
Well, it looks here like this is a great play to try and get a shot off, and it was. I think he tried to scoop it underhand. So he's saying in the act of shooting, referee agrees with him. He'll give him 2 shots.
The big 6'5" Kevin Osawi back to the line. Once again, this Chaminade team can pull into second place with Father Henry Carr, a victory today. Meanwhile, FHC trying to keep second spot in that West Division. Knocks down both, 70-68.
Well, he struggled with a lot of free throws, and to step up there, you know, we talked about free throws made, free throws missed. But the fact of the matter is, this is when you want to be able to make them. Any coach will tell you that. In the clutch, if you can make them going down to the wire and in positions where you're protecting a lead, man, oh man, they don't get more important than free shots like that.
And Osawi has been one of the few players on the court today that has had consistent success at the line. Now it's 41 seconds left, and once again, the talk comes up for crucial possession. Your Henry Carr heading into this one. We got a couple, you know, solid shots in the past couple possessions, and Morse and Watt. You know, it's interesting to see, are they going to go back to them, or are they going to try and move the ball a bit more?
Well, I think you got a lot of players that are very comfortable shooting in Morse and Watt. Then you have a few others that might be a little tepid or not necessarily feeling like it's their shot to take. This is a time where if you're on the court, your coach trusts you enough to take a shot. And if you're wide open and you have a good look, you owe your team that, to take that shot there. If that shot comes early, that's great. If the shot comes late, that's a little unfortunate because you don't want to bleed too much time left. As you can see right here, we got 41 seconds and 23 on the shot clock. Very interesting scenarios and so much time left in retrospect when you look at timeouts, when you look at stoppages and fouls and everything that's going to come into play.
And you can expect off the inbound here, Agrada is going to have to put it in. They couldn't just roll it in, so now Watt surveys the scene and pushes off to his man, Tadri Morse.
Shot clock will turn off in 6 seconds.
Morse over to Agrada.
7 on the shot.
Morse tries to split the D, throws up the floater, won't fall. A loose ball, and this time the possession arrow does favor Chaminade. So they get the ball back with 16.8 seconds on the clock. So now the first possession, Cal, first priority has to be try and force a turnover, and then it's going to be commit a foul as fast as possible.
And they get the hand.
They don't want to foul Osawi, and now he's going to have a chance to burn about 3 seconds off the clock and go to the line, and now you have to pray for a miss.
Well, you know what, and they got a little bit lucky there because I think for the most part that was a clock that was a little slow. You can see the disparity between the Rogers clock and then the clock over at the scorekeeper, so maybe a little bit of hometown advantage, but they're not going to correct it at this point. Osawi probably not the guy you want to foul, but at some point you have absolutely no choice. His handles and his control are so good.
Osawi's first of the one-on-one will go.
Well, as the crowd gets into it, Osawi poses a little bit more, lets them know exactly how little he is rattled, and Crusaders go back on defense. It's just 1 and 4 here in the key.
This could be it. Osawi's second free throw is also good. It extends the lead to 4. So now you don't need a 3, but you do need a quick 2. So now it's Morse. Need a bucket in a hurry. Morse thought about it. Over to Watt. Watt. Agrada. Deep shot. Won't go. Ball on the floor. Osawi in the open court. Foul called with 0.6 seconds on the clock. And now the Chaminade bench can stand up and applaud. Osawi heads the line as they just begin to walk off on this one, Cal.
Well, yeah, it looked like we were going to be going down to a last possession game, and what was a 37-36 game at half was a very, very tight game, one possession game going into the end, but Osawi certainly showed his mettle towards the end of this one, and 4 clutch free throws that really iced this game. Funny how it comes down to that. There's your 5th, by the way.
Mentioned Osawi, what a story he was. The 6'5" senior coming in with 7 games with 25 plus points this season, and it looks like he's going to have another here this afternoon. Extends the lead to 6.
Well, that was 6 free throws, and that's going to be it as Watt will try and get one off.
And a frustrating loss for Father Henry Carr. A couple turnovers in the final moments, but the difference maker once again for this Chaminade team came down to one guy.
Yeah, it was remarkable to watch him play in the 4th quarter, specifically taking over with that ease, using his teammates, finding a bat in the corner who spotted up for that clutch 3-pointer, which we can't talk enough about. Certainly a team effort in Chaminade, but they had a general leading them today, and his name was Osawi.
And you mentioned Osawi, and you talked
My favorite part, perhaps on a defensive perspective, was at the end when he goes in with 4 fouls to make that key block there when it's still a 1-possession game. Blocks Menzies. After that, went to the line, handled business. Ian.
Absolutely, and Osawi was definitely one of the players to watch all day. That block was definitely one of the memories that stood out for all of us here at Rogers TV, and we'd like to thank you for tuning in today. Once again, Chaminade pulls into a tie for second place with Sir Father Henry Carr on the victory today. 74-68 your final. On behalf of Cal McLennan, I'm Ian Jodry, and thank you from the rest of the Rogers TV crew, and good night from Etobicoke.